The night was alive with the growl of engines, the Hells Angels tearing down the highway in a tight formation. Their leather cuts caught the glimmer of streetlights, a wall of roaring chrome and shadow that made passing cars pull aside in nervous silence. In the middle of the pack rode Ricky, iron, Malone, his hands steady on the bars, his eyes hidden behind scratched aviators even in the dark. To the world, he looked like every other outlaw in the convoy, hard, untouchable, the kind of man you didn't cross. But behind his stone-cold expression, Ricky's thoughts weren't on the road or the club. They were stuck in a loop, circling around a memory he couldn't shake. At the next rest stop, the brothers parked in a row, lighting cigarettes and trading crude jokes. Ricky lingered by his bike, pulling a weathered wallet from his cut. Inside, between grease-stained bills, was a photo. The edges were torn, the colors faded, but the face of a little girl still burned bright. Her smile, wide, missing 2 front teeth, hit him harder than any fist ever had. Her name was Lily, his daughter. 7 years had passed since he'd last seen her. She was 10 then, standing in her mother's doorway, her small hands balled into fists, her eyes swimming with betrayal as Ricky turned his back and walked toward his bike. He told himself leaving would protect her, that his world was too violent, too chaotic to drag a child into. But as the years stretched on, that excuse felt thinner and thinner. The truth was uglier. He was a coward who didn't know how to be both a father and an angel. He flicked open his lighter, the flame catching his face in the dark, and muttered to himself, 18 soon. The number haunted him. In a few weeks, Lily would be grown. She wouldn't need him. Maybe she never did. But still, something inside screamed that he couldn't let her cross that threshold without trying, at least once, to make things right. The club noticed his distance. Irons gone soft, one of the younger riders chuckled, exhaling smoke. Another clapped him on the shoulder. What's eating you, brother? Ricky grinned, the mask of a hardened biker never slipping, but their words cut deeper than they knew. He wasn't going soft. He was running out of time. When they hit the city, Ricky peeled away from the formation, his Harley's thunder fading into quiet suburban streets. He hadn't been here in years, but the turns were etched into his bones. He pulled up to a modest house with a porch light glowing faintly. Through the window, he saw her, older now, her hair tied back, bent over books at the dining table. She looked like her mother, strong-jawed, focused, unshaken. Ricky's chest ached. He didn't knock, didn't dare. He sat there in the shadows, helmet off, watching through glass like a ghost. One last chance, he told himself. I'm going to make this right, no matter what it takes. For the first time in years, Ricky didn't feel like Iron Malone, the biker. He felt like a father standing at the edge of a road he should never have left. The next evening, Ricky found himself parked a block away from Lily's house, his Harley silent and cooling in the shadows. He'd told himself 100 times he'd just ride past, just watch for a second, but every time he did, the guilt dug deeper. Tonight, the promise in his chest finally pushed him forward. He rehearsed the words over and over as he walked toward the porch. I'm sorry. I should have been there. I never stopped thinking about you. But when he reached the front door, his throat felt like gravel. His fists, so used to breaking bones, shook as he raised them to knock. The door opened quicker than he expected. There she was, Lily, 17 now, taller than he remembered, with sharp, guarded eyes that no longer held the innocence from the photo in his wallet. For a moment, she didn't recognize him. Then her face hardened like stone. What do you want? Her voice cut cold, each word like a blade. Ricky swallowed. Lily, it's me, your dad. She laughed bitterly, crossing her arms. My dad. My dad's been gone for years. My dad doesn't get to just show up now. The words stung worse than any beating. Ricky shifted on his feet, searching for something to cling to. I know I messed up. I know I wasn't there. But I never stopped caring, sweetheart. Not for a second. Don't call me that. Her voice cracked, but her stare never wavered. Behind her, Ricky caught a glimpse of her mother stepping into the hall, folding her arms tight. Ricky, her mother said, her tone weary and sharp. What are you doing here? I just wanted to see her. To talk. To try and explain. Lily's mother shook her head slowly. You don't get to explain after 7 years. She cried herself to sleep, waiting for you. I had to pick up the pieces. Ricky's jaw tightened. He wanted to argue, to say he left to protect them from the chaos of his world, but the truth stuck in his throat. He hadn't protected anyone. He'd just left them to bear the hurt alone. "Please," he said quietly, turning back to Lily. "I just want a chance. One chance to show you I'm not the man I used to be." Lily's eyes flashed, her voice rising. "You don't get chances, Dad. You missed birthdays, holidays, everything. You chose them." She pointed toward the faint sound of motorcycles echoing down the highway, "over me. Every time." The silence stretched heavy. Ricky felt the weight of every mile he'd ridden away from her pressing down on his chest. Finally, Lily shook her head and stepped back. "Just go. Don't come here again." The door slammed shut before he could answer. Ricky stood on the porch, staring at the wood grain, his hands trembling. For the first time in years, the man they called iron felt brittle, fragile, like he could break apart in the night air. He walked back to his bike, slid the helmet on, and sat in the darkness. His brothers always said he had a heart of steel, but tonight, it felt like shattered glass. Still, as his engine roared to life, one thought anchored him: she may hate me now, but I'm not giving up. Not this time. The door slam echoed in Ricky's chest for days. He rode with the angels, but his heart wasn't in the thunder of the engines or the camaraderie of the road. Every laugh, every story, every fight blurred together. The only thing sharp in his mind was the look in Lily's eyes, the mix of pain, anger, and disappointment. He had seen men broken in prison cells, rivals begging for mercy, but nothing compared to the way his daughter had looked at him. 1 week later, Ricky was back in that same neighborhood, though he kept his distance. He told himself he was only checking to see if she was okay. It wasn't obsession, it was instinct. A father's instinct he'd buried for years under leather, liquor, and steel. That night, as he sat on his Harley in the shadows, he heard it, a raised voice, not Lily's, but a man's, sharp and aggressive. Ricky's head snapped toward the sound. On the porch, Lily stood frozen, her backpack clutched to her chest as a group of older guys circled too close. He couldn't make out every word, but he didn't need to. Their tone was enough. Ricky's blood surged hot. Without thinking, he gunned the Harley, the roar splitting the quiet street as he shot forward. Gravel spat from his tires as he pulled up hard in front of the house. The men froze, startled by the sight of the towering biker dismounting with a look that promised violence. "You boys lost." Ricky's voice was low, dangerous. His fists flexed, his knuckles scarred reminders of the life he led. The tallest one sneered. "Who the hell are you? Old man thinks he's tough." Ricky took one slow step forward. "That's my daughter you're crowding. You want to find out just how tough I am." Something in his tone made them waver. They backed off, muttering curses, retreating down the street into the dark. Ricky didn't chase them. His eyes were on Lily. She stared at him, breathing hard, her face pale but her eyes fierce. "I didn't need your help," she snapped, though her voice trembled. Ricky's chest ached. "Maybe not. But you'll always have it. Whether you want it or not." The silence stretched between them, heavy but different this time. Lily's shoulders lowered, just slightly. Her eyes glistened, but she quickly wiped them. "Why now?" she whispered. "Why after all this time?" Ricky swallowed hard. "Because I was a fool. I thought leaving would keep you safe from my world. All I did was leave you unprotected. I can't undo the years I missed, Lily. But I can promise you this, whatever roads I have left to ride, I'll ride them with you in my heart. I'm not walking away again." Her lip trembled, and for the first time, her anger cracked. A tear slipped down her cheek. She turned toward the door, but paused, her voice soft. "I don't forgive you. Not yet." Ricky nodded, his throat tight. "I'll wait. As long as it takes." She disappeared inside, the door shutting quietly this time, not slammed. Ricky stood there in the cool night air, his heart pounding, the echo of hope flickering where despair once lived. For the first time in years, he felt like maybe, just maybe, the road ahead wasn't broken after all.